Climategate bombshell. Phil Jones, a leading global warming scientist, now reportedly saying there's been no evidence of global warming for 15 years. This is a professor whose data is crucial to the theory of climate change. But despite this, the White House is reportedly planning to use executive orders to muscle through some global warming initiatives. My next guest doesn't even know where to start. Pat Michaels is with the Cato Institute. Pat, let's start with this guy, Phil Jones. He was one of the CRU, the Climate Research Unit climatologists, whose work really was the basis for all this cap and trade initiatives that were being pushed through by the Obama administration.
Yeah, the temperature history that came out of the CRU was figured very heavily in a lot of the background for legislation that went through the House of Representatives. And now we're finding out that, in fact, they didn't keep records, they lost a lot of data, and so people are questioning the origin and the provenance of this data. And the more and more this happens, the less and less the Senate wants to pass cap and trade, so that leaves it to Obama to try and ram it through via the regulatory mechanism and EPA, and all this stuff is going to come back up and up and up when they try and do it.
Pat, we're going to get to that in 1 second. Let's stay on this, Mr. Phil Jones, Professor Phil Jones. Let's pull that full screen up. This is what he claims to be good at and not so good at. He claims to be good at integrity and doggedness, but not so good at record keeping and office tidying. Listen, under the category of you can't make this stuff up, how much money is dependent on this man's data?
Oh, God, billions and maybe potentially trillions of dollars. And, you know, to say when you're the record keeper for the globe's temperature that you're not a good record keeper, well, that's going to come back to haunt for a long, long time.
All right, let's talk about the EPA. Mr. Obama saying that there are 5 gases. I guess this is, let's be fair. The 5 dangerous gases have been around for a long time, and there have been several administrations that agree that they may be dangerous. Tell us what the Obama administration has done with the EPA.
Well, they basically directed the EPA to issue what's called a finding of endangerment, which means EPA is going to come out with some regulations. And given all the stuff that's happened with Climategate, given the cracks in the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change when it comes to the glaciers in the Himalayas or sea level in the Netherlands, all these many things that have come out, this is going to get challenged. And it's going to be a very, very serious challenge that occurs to see whether, in fact, they can get this regulation through.
All right, so if you were in the White House in light of all this new findings, what would you do?
I would cool it. I would sure wait until the 2010 election and then recognize that it's going to get caught up in the courts for years and years and years.
So using executive orders, executive powers is not a good idea right now?
I tell you, I think it's very politically dangerous to impose very, very large implicit taxes on the American people at this stage in the economy and this stage in the political process. I don't know what is powering them to do this. I can't figure it out.
And just give us real quickly a summary of how that would happen by empowering the EPA.
Oh, the EPA can now issue a pronouncement based upon a Supreme Court decision a couple years ago called Mass v. EPA. They feel that the law says that if they determine CO2 is dangerous, which they did, then they not only can, they must regulate it. And where the rubber meets the road is whether, in fact, that endangerment finding is going to stand up in the courts.
And they don't have to go through Congress.
They don't have to go through Congress. That's right. You didn't vote for these guys, and they got their hand on your wallet.
All right, Pat Michaels from the Cato Institute, thank you very much.